Hello, marry me. So, I bought a book recently, and this is not going to be a review of it, but more a discussion of what many people thought of the book. And the book is this one, The New Orleans Voodoo Handbook. Now, I haven't read the book yet, so I can't really do a review of it. But when I looked at the book, I saw a lot of people complaining of it. That and now that I've come through it, I see that some of what they were talking about is definitely correct. They were complaining that the book had so much about New Orleans culture, the food, everything of that, and not enough of the magic. And that let me ask, can you really separate a magic system developed in a certain time period, certain culture, and certain demographics from the environment it's developed in? Or will you then not get something that's inspired by it but not authentic? Basically, New Orleans voodoo is different than other kinds of voodoo because of the environment it has developed in. The combination of American, French, African American, and so on and so influences has created something unique. And without bringing that unique bit with you, can you really then study that magic system? Or, for that matter, German folk magic? Can you understand German folk magic without understanding the place and time that it was developed in? Now, a lot of the people that were complaining about this book seem to think yes, you can. That the most important thing is the right to the meat magical information. This is how you do a spell within this system. You do it this way, this way, this way, this way. That is clearly what I felt that the book should be about. I complained that it was much more of a travel guide than a magical book. I don't know if I agree with that because there's a lot of magical information in there, but yeah. But in the beginning, this almost swayed me. I was looking at potential books to buy and I was thinking, yeah, I mean, I'm not American, and while it's interesting enough to learn about new places, learning a lot about different American cities isn't generally why I buy books. And I was thinking perhaps I should go for another book that has more pure magical information. But then I got thinking, without understanding the society that has developed this magic system, can you really understand the system itself? You see, magic is very much a reflection of those that develop it. Look, for example, about the debate about high magic and low magic. Now, granted, these terms are conflicted, but the way I use them here, basically that, and I've gotten this from Don Craig, he's hilarious about it because this make a lot of sense to me. They called it high magic because rich people could afford books and specialized tools and all of the things that are a part of what we call ceremonial magic today. And they lived in cities very often placed high on hills and so on and so forth. While the common folk, they they used magic that were very practical. High magic was very much to develop yourself and so on, getting into contact with the divine, while low magic, more practical magic, were to bring about a bountiful harvest, make sure that your wife and your livestock were fertile, and so on and so forth. And these people could not afford books, fancy tools, and so on. They had to work with what they found around them. And as such, they were referred to as low magic because they were very often the farmers who work in lowlands. And while it might not be exactly like that, you get my point here. Two distinct types of magic developed based on the societies and the culture around the people that developed it. And understanding a bit about that culture really helps you understand the magic. Or take Norse Norse saint magic. If you're going to basically understand it and be able to separate it from the myriads of inspired by systems out there, you have to understand a bit about Viking society to see whatever the magic system you're looking at actually fits in there. It helps you get into contact with, what shall we say, the soul of those that created the magic system. And as such, learning about the society can be very helpful. So, after a bit of soul searching, I think I actually fall down on the side of, I think a book like the one I showed you can be very useful. That it doesn't just give you, these are the herbs used, these are the ritual words, this is how you do it, boom, 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 here's your magical recipe book. But more give you information not just about the magic, but about the area where this unique form of magic has developed. That can really help you connect with the spirit of that magic and make you much more powerful with it. And I think that perhaps in this day and age where almost every bookstore holds some books on magic, where there is a plethora of books you can choose from, where there's so many systems, there's so much that we can choose from. I think that we to a certain degree have forgotten to immerse ourselves in the world around it. Basically, generally a reason for everything. For example, in Norway we have very few werewolf myths. I actually don't think we have any. We have werebears. Because in Norway people were a lot more afraid of bears than wolves. As generally wolves do not attack people. Wolves can attack livestock. And there was certainly some folklore around wolves coming to take your livestock and small children. But generally little there were little folklore about people turning into wolves. There were a lot of folklore about people turning into bears though, because bears, now that's for someone who don't want to meet in the dark of the forest. In addition, our folklore around werebears comes to a certain degree from all the time from Viking society, where you have the Björnesaker, which were people that dressed in bearskins and they got high off their heads on mushrooms, and then they just slaughtered everything around. And these mushrooms made them so that they could not feel pain, and yeah, they believed it also gave them supernatural powers and so on and so forth. And many people believed they were bears, humans that would turn into bears. Therefore, because of this artifact of our culture, werebears were a much more common thing in our folklore than werewolves. And of course, this is folklore, not necessarily magic, but all of these things hang together. So that, for example, Norwegian folk magic is very much tied in with German folk magic, because there were a lot of German traders. And when we look at the old grimoires that have been found, very often they have very similar spells and rituals what you find in Deutsch folk magic, because it was brought with them. And I feel that understanding this, understanding the history behind it, and the culture something is developed in, helps you understand the system itself, because magic doesn't develop in a vacuum. It develops according to the needs and wants of those that develop these systems, and the beliefs, myths, and legends they hold dear to their hearts. And so, yeah, I actually think that we need more books like this one. Books that incorporate telling you about a society, about a city, about a place that the place that has developed a magic system and a religious system. I think we need more books that incorporates that with purely metaphysical knowledge, because I think that it makes it easier to connect with a given magic system. So perhaps next time to find a book that is one part travel guide, as the critics like to call it, and one part book of magic, perhaps you shouldn't scoff at it, because perhaps learning what the people that developed this system like to eat, what myths they had, what um, stories they tell their children at night, what shops they visit, what the smells of the city they live in is. Perhaps all these things will help you channel the energies of that magic system easier, because then you can connect with the soul of the system when you know and learn a little bit about how it has been developed, the society it has been developed in, and where it comes from. So yeah, that was just my 2 cents in that debate. Hope you have enjoyed this video. Have a great day. Blessed be.